Good morning. I am Shehajalam from Astro Guide Mysore. Today let us go into a new topic. Let us understand how to do marriage matching, and this will be a series of classes, let's say around 10 to 12 classes I think, and along with that some uh, classical examples and also some practical examples of how to marriage a boy's child with a girl's child and what to do and how to go ahead and do a higher level of matching. Just simple traditional matching, then understanding the cosmic relevance, the doshas, and then how to go for higher level of matching, understanding the transits, the dasha bhuktis, there's a period of planets and everything else. So I'll be going through this particular subject, which is an interesting subject. It's not a boring subject like mathematics of astrology and other muhurta things. So it's an interesting subject. Let us go ahead and understand first now, generally, why marriage matching is required and how actually it's going to be helpful. Firstly, the need of a partner who can understand your aspirations, a need of a partner who can actually relate to your goals in life, the need of a partner who can be cooperative and also progressively positively associated with you. This is why marriage match has to be done. It's for the boy or the girl. There should be reciprocation between both the horoscopes. It's not that you cannot match a person who goes into the Chinese restaurant and tells that I don't eat Chinese, but my wife eats Chinese. I will just sit there and wait, let her eat her food, and then I'll go to my restaurant and she will wait and I will eat my food. So this is a very small example where a mismatch happens. But this is not the only example. It happens in every level. So these levels I have coined it as the PEPSI. It's not the cola which is sold outside, but anyway, I have been repeating this particular thing. It is physical, emotional, psychological, spiritual, and intellectual. So these are the 5 levels of matching which has to be done, and which is important because if a person doesn't have physical attraction and matching, then what's the marriage then? So, but still, this also happens in cases where late marriages happen. For companionship, where actually the physical entity is of not much importance, but only with regard to health. Other than that, it would be more of understanding each other, psychological relationship, spiritual relationship, etc. So that is for a next level. The first level is that physical relationship is important because when two people marry together, they are supposed to live together. They are supposed to understand each other. They are supposed to go through the ups and downs of life together. So emotional matching has to be done. Then we need to do the psychological matching of what's right, what's wrong, what's my belief, what's your belief, what's my faith, what's your faith. How do we work out and see that we both can live together, and agree to both of our requirements and see that we can, complement each other. So the fourth level is the spiritual matching, where actually the seeking will start, the enlightenment will start, and it should not be that one does not have this at all, the other has it full. So what will happen is that they cannot stay together. One will leave the other and go away for spiritual seeking. So that should not happen. So once again, the intellectual match, this is the match which is very important because what I know, I think I know, and my ego is it's like a firewall. Ego is like a firewall. For viruses there is firewall in the computer, like that. It's a firewall which actually stops from anyone getting inside and trying to change your understanding. It's like you get fixed to what you are, and then you tell that is right. This particular stubbornness and egocentric problems will matter in marriage matching because this is where maximum divorces are happening. From the first point till the fifth point, many divorces happen because of emotional problems, because of intellectual problems, because of the problems associated with the physical intimacy and the compatibility of the physical compatibility. So we should understand. So what actually happened when marriage matching was, I was studying marriage matching. I came across many people who would do matching with only names, just the boy's name and the girl's name. I was baffled to understand how can just a boy's name and a girl's name suddenly come into marriage matching. Then I came to know that most of the cases, not all the cases, most of the cases in India, people would name the child as per the nakshatra and the pada, that is the constellation and its quarter. Like for example, Ashwini 2 is giving us the sound che. So there is shabda, that is a word associated with a sound, a word associated with each nakshatra pada. Like for example, Ashwini 1, 2, 3, 4. This Ashwini constellation has Chu, Che, Cho, La. For example, Chu, like the native would have been named like Chudamani. Just giving you an example of the South Indian name. The Che would be Chetan or Chetana or Chola, and then Lata. So then Bharani Nakshatra would be Li, Lu, Le, Lo. So these sounds have been ascertained after a lot of study and also elevation and enlightenment. It's just not like that. Please do not go into the details of verification of these sounds. If at all you want to go into the details, please do your research. I don't have any problem with that. But I have accepted this and it's giving us a lot of good results, because if a person is named as per the nakshatra, it's not going to give him any benefit. It's not going to be very beneficial. The only thing is that if he forgets his nakshatra, if he forgets his rashi, in which sign he was born, just by the name, like for example, if somebody tells his name is Lokesh, then we can associate, if provided, only if and provided that the person had been named as per his birth star. Provided if he is not named as per his birth star, we cannot do this reverse calculation. That is, if Lokesh was simply named as Lokesh, then we cannot tell that he falls under Bharani Nakshatra 4th quarter. No, we cannot tell. We should first ascertain with them that whether he was born really under the Nakshatra Pada, he was named under Nakshatras, and if he tells yes, my parents have named me under the Nakshatra, then we can reverse calculate and tell. And this, why is it useful? Because if the person doesn't know the date of birth, if the person has not recorded his birth timings, this was not happening, because earlier days in India or many other countries, the birth time was not recorded at all. That particular day they would know, 4:30 in the evening that fellow got born. Okay, they would go to the priest or the pandit or whoever was next to them in the village. They would go and ask 4:30 in the evening he was born. They will tell, oh, you name him with V. So Venkatesh. Oh, no, you name him with A, Aruna. So this is how they would get the names, and also it would be interrelated with the nakshatras. They would not get the whole horoscope written at all. Many people who come to me still don't have the horoscopes, and they come to me and we go through the Prashna Shastra, which is a very tough thing. I do only one Prashna a day, that too provided if I am in a good mood, health, situation, XYZ, and that's a very big thing to understand. I will do it later on. So what I am trying to tell you is Nama Nakshatra, that is name birth star, is not to be taken totally, because there has been a lot of confusion in this due to people not naming their children according to the birth star at all. There are many letters in which the regular Hindu names or regular Christian names cannot be found. So what they do is they will not go through to the nakshatra. They will just make a small reference to it on that day of naming ceremony, and then they'll leave it. So they will name Vyavahara Nama. Vyavahara Nama is a regular transactional name which the social society will accept. So that name has no relevance with the nakshatra because it has not been linked. So Nama Bhala, that is matching charts with only names, I have dropped it totally because this practice cannot be authentic because nobody knows whether they were actually named after the placement of moon. And once again, the limitation is that it is only the placement of moon. What about the placement of ascendant? What about the placement of Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu? What about the placement of Mercury, Venus, Sun? Nothing. Nothing has been specified. No placement of Mars, nothing has been specified. Only the placement of Moon cannot give us in-depth analysis of the chart. This is not the old time anymore. We need to do the traditional matching first for the Moon, then the Moon and the ascendant, then we'll have to do Moon, ascendant and Sun because it is body, mind and soul. That is, ascendant is the body, Moon is the mind and Sun is the soul. And then we'll have to do all planets also. We have to take up the average of all planets, like starting from Mercury, then we'll go to Mars, Jupiter, Venus and Saturn. Rahu and Ketu, let us leave it off because they are anyway anti for the marriages. So let us first understand that these matchings have to happen. It's not just moon to moon. So what do they do with moon to moon? The moon placed in a particular nakshatra, in a particular sign of the boy, is referred and compared with the moon's nakshatra pada, that is the nakshatra and its quarter in a particular rashi of the girl. So girl's sign, girl's janma rashi and boy's janma rashi are matched, and this matching has 10 folds, 12 folds depending on the different parts of India. The different types of matching are done. So we need to do it with all the planets. This is very important. Commercially what has happened nowadays is people go for marriage matching. There are many people, I don't want to put a derogatory remark on our own astrological setup, but still there are people who inflict fear into the parents of the natives, and they say that there is Rahu dosha, there is Sarpa dosha, there is this dosha, there is Paishachika dosha, there is Vishu dosha, Mangal dosha, so much of dosha, they will tell, and people will get confused. Now they don't know whether this girl has to be married or not. So they go into a lot of panic. So what I would say is that the doshas have to be equated. That is called as dosha samya. We have to do that. Once they are equated, we have to see whether the planetary standings in the boys is reciprocative to the planetary standings in the girls, and then we come to a point to understand whether these two can marry. Later on, we need to see the longevity of the marriage. That is when the kutas like the Bakuta, that is the Ekanadi dosha, the Rajju, Nakshatra Veda, all these things come into play. Sri Dirga, Mahendra Kuta. So these will actually, they will clearly show whether it's a fruitful marriage or not, whether the longevity of the marriage is long or not. All these things can be seen from understanding the matching. So I'll go into the matching one by one tomorrow. Like if I do the Dinakuta, then I'll do the Ganakuta, then I'll go into this Sri Dirga, Mahendra. It's a lot. It's a huge thing. Let me do it. It will take around 10 to 12 days. So I will complete the whole of marriage matching. So for people who are actually studying astrology and would want to take it up seriously, so make good notes and study. Thank you very much for today's class.